button.
And then your video plays.
Yeah. It gives us a chance to sort of settle down a little bit as everybody arrives. I mean, at some stage, we're going to be going live to Facebook and YouTube and other websites at the same time. And the problem with that is you've got different connection times. So this is where a countdown video comes in. Now we've got 24 seconds to go. Talking to David on Monday, he was talking about that. I said, well, I can stop it if you want. He said, no, don't stop it, I like it. So, we need to bit of deafness here, and we can hide that, and we can come on screen. See, right, you know, do you recognise my background?
Yeah, you stole it off Pete this morning.
This is true. This is true. I caught Peter earlier. He's checking out his new mixer, and he's going with the echo side of it. It was very good. Hello, John.
Good afternoon, Stephen.
Good afternoon. And this is inspired in video with myself and John. And John's instructional video will be along in a moment. We opened with an Invideo video, but it's actually a countdown timer. And there'll be another of those later in the show. I'm enjoying doing 6 of those each week using Invideo. And I'm always chuffed is the right word when I actually see somebody using it. And it's actually getting used. And of course, the double edge of that is that the video is on YouTube. So every time somebody uses in a show, I get a play on YouTube. How's that? Okay. And we say hello to Ed, who's saying hello to both of us. Hello, Ed. Thank you for joining us for this weekly session. Always at 11 a.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. in the UK. And I've got to acknowledge today that we are, in fact, getting organised. In fact, so organised that we're able to have a chat before the show. So we're getting there. Right, John, would you like to...
Panic. And
there's no panic this week.
No.
The sun's shining as well. Would you like to tell us about this week's video?
Well, Stephen's in the library, and you can see I'm in the studio. If only it were true. This week's video is about creating a bouncy counter. It was a request put by Max Bernstein, or Steen, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, in the group. And I've built a little teach you how to do it thing. So
how to do it thing.
Even we can play it. It's about 15 minutes long, and hopefully you'll all enjoy it and learn something from it too.
Well, I do too. So it's a teacher thing. I'll bring it up on screen. Okay, because we're set to go. I shall take it 1 minute microphone. I'm not sure we need to do this now.
Okay, this week's tutorial is based on a request posted in the user group that was about how can I achieve a bouncing style counter. Max Bernstein asked the question, and he posted an example of what he wanted and how it worked in After Effects. Yes, it's done in After Effects. So what I've done is I've created a version that works in Invideo, and I'm going to show you how that's done. So I'm starting with the standard scene for a blank template scene. So I've got build your own scene, and I've added my logo. So if you look at the layers, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the length of the scene. And for what I want to achieve today, I need 18 seconds. Now the reason I'm going for 18 seconds is I'm going to have the numbers 1 to 10, each with a 2-second length. and they will overlap slightly, so they bounce each other out. And what I'm going to also then do is have a little bit of static for the number 1 and a little bit of staticness at the end for the number 10. So it will count through to 1 to 10, with 1 being on the scene for a little bit and 10 being on the scene for a little bit as well. So the first thing I'm going to do, as I say, is I'm going to extend it to 18 seconds long. We've already got build your own scene on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the advanced timeline, and I'm going to do a couple of things with that. So I'm going to change that to the number 1. Okay, I'm going to slide it to the very beginning, and I'm going to cut it down to 2 seconds. Okay, so that's now 2 seconds long, the number 1. What I'm also going to do is go into style. I'm going to lock the font resizing, and I'm going to change that to 200. Okay, and that's moved it away from the center of the screen. So what I'm going to do is just recenter it. You can see how those guidelines help you. We're going to talk about grids in a bit, but those guidelines show you that where the cross is the exact center of the screen. So I've got my number 1. I'm going to go back to layers, click on number 1, and then I'm going to do Control C, Control V. Okay, and I'm going to go to here, and I'm going to slide that so that it overlaps by, I want it to go to 150. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So it overlaps a little bit. 145 actually, I think is not quite right. So let's just move that to 150. Ever I wish. Okay, so 151. We're hardly going to notice a tenth of a second. So what we're going to, a 100th of a second even, what we're going to do is build our things. Okay, but if we click on 2, which still says number 1, because I haven't changed it to 2. Okay, it's not quite in the middle. If we look at 1, you'll see 1 is exactly in the middle, and if we look at 2, you'll see it's offset. Now, if you look at these little circles here, if we go back to 1, you'll see that through the middle. Yeah. So if we go to 2, we can use the arrow keys on our keyboard to move these to be midway through the center lines. So now, if you look, 1 and 2 are not quite in the same place. The 2 jumps up 1 pixel or so. So if we do it again, 1, 2. Okay, so that allows us to fine-tune our alignment. What I'm going to do next then is I'm going to duplicate 2. Now I always go to layers to make sure I've got the right thing. So I'm going to do Control C, Control V. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is 3. And then I'm going to do this one, so this one overlaps. Just want to get it halfway through. Anyway, we can play around with the alignments afterwards. That's definitely not as far forward as the other one, is it? We'll go to concentrate on the overlaps in a minute. So you can see now that I've got 3 numbers, and if I check the grid, you'll see that this one is out as well, so I can move it up and move it to the left. You can play with these alignments when you've done it all, got it together, to make sure they're 100% correct, but I wanted to show you how to do things fairly quickly. You don't want this to last forever. So I'm going to go back to layers, and I've got number 3, Control C, Control V, and I'm going to change that to 4. Whatever you do, don't press a return, because that makes life very, very difficult, because you get a much bigger blue box. So if we slide that to roughly overlap there, and we look at our number 4 again now, needs to go up. Okay, click on it. Do you ever have the feeling it doesn't want to move? That's because it wasn't selected. Okay, so now we've got 4, layer 4, Control C, Control V. This is going to become 5. Again, we'll shift it so it overlaps. I think we'll just take the overlap down a bit. And again, clicking on it. And remove there. Okay, so now we've got 5. Let's do Control C, Control V. 6. Slide it again to sort our overlap. We'll get them all exact afterwards. Layer, and again we'll move it to be in the middle. Control C, Control V. 7. Again, let's slide it to get the overlap roughly right. Go back to the layer, click. Okay, 7. Control C, Control V. This one's going to be 8. And let's go to layers, click on it, and again we can move it into the right place. And Control C, Control V. So this is 9. Back to layers. Slide it so it's overlapping a bit. Back to layers. And again, that will then allow us to align it. Okay, Control C, Control V. And this time we're going for 10. Okay, back to layers, and you can see that this needs here. Whoops. I'll get it right in a moment. Okay, so we've got our 10 layers. We've moved them all around. So if we play this, as you can see, that there. So what we want to do is create the ability for it to bounce in. Now we could have done this on the first one and then it would have been included as we did our duplication, but I've done it this way so that you could see just the standard 1 to 10. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to 1 and we're going to go to animation, whole, we've got none. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with none, because it's not coming from everywhere. But so that's in is going to have none, and out is going to have bounce. Up, bounce to up. Yep. And this is 2 seconds long, so I'm going to cut that to ½ a second. Okay, and if we play this scene, you'll see it bounced out. Okay, stop again. So let's go to number 2. Now in number 2 we want the animation to be in, so we're going to go for bounce again, but this time we want it from down. Okay, so it's going to come up, we're going to shorten that to ½ a second, and you can play with all these timings to change the effect to whatever way you want to do. And then we're going to go to out again, we're going to go to bounce, and again this time we're going to go, because it's out, it's going to bounce. Been too quick pass there, wipe, and we're going to want it to bounce up, and again I'm going to make that ½ a second. Okay, and we'll quickly show you the first bit of the scene. So 1, it goes up, and 2 came up, and there. Now again, you can change all of these timings yourself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here for a second, and then I'm going to come back when I've done all 10 numbers bouncing in and out. Okay, so now I've put on the bounce ups and bounce outs of all of them, so let's show you the video working again. So they come in from the bottom and bounce out to the top, and then the 10 stays on for a short while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend the 10 to the end so that it stays there, and the final thing I'm going to do is change the music, and I'm going to go to electronic, and yes, I have chosen my tune in advance. I'm going to use Black Moon, so I'm going to select that, and so now I can preview. I'm not going to watch it all the way through. I'm going to export it, and then I'm going to add the exported video to the end of this. Okay, so that's the counter, but don't forget you can play with the timings, you can play with the overlap, so it doesn't have to be 2 seconds long, it can be ½ a second long. The overlap can be as long as you want or as short as you want, and even more importantly, of course, you can use a different kind of animation to create a different feel to the counter. So I hope you found that useful.
Right. Over to you, John.
Oh, well, what is there to say? It's a counter, it bounces around, and it shows you how you can use the slider in the advanced timeline to overlap things, make things come on and off whenever you want.
So, I mean, that's
no, I can't hear you though, Steve.
Kelly, can you hear me? wait for Kelly to say whether he can hear me or not. I know he's turned his volume down. Okay, I think I can be heard. Can't hear you. Okay. But you genuinely can't hear me?
Yeah, your voice isn't matching your lip movement.
Well, that's a different thing entirely. I'm out of sync is what you're saying.
Now you are. You couldn't hear you at all before.
Oh, right. Okay. Right. Okay. You caught Kelly and I by surprise at the end because we turned the volume. Hang on. We turned the volume up to listen to you, and then we got the music. All good. Right. But the sound on that video definitely better. Do you have a new microphone by chance?
Oh, you know damn well I have a new microphone.
Yes, but nobody else does. Nobody else does. And tell us why.
I bought myself a B. You can't see it anyway. The box is going invisible. I bought myself a Bumblebee microphone. Cost about £80 in the UK. Made by Neat Microphones, which is a division of Gibson, the guitar people. And I'm really pleased with it. And it's yellow and black. Oh, and you get a free toy.
What do you get? Oh, that's worth 80 quid.
It's been round, but I've just...
that is definitely worth the 80 quid.
Yeah, you get a little free toy.
Brilliant. Right,
I'm quite pleased with the mic. It sounds pretty good.
Okay, if you're watching this in the Invideo group, thank you. If you want to comment on any of the shows, just click the link up above and that will bring you to the show. Keep forgetting to say that. If you are watching in the Invideo group and you have videos that you upload to YouTube, then if you could send the link to John or I, we'll play them on our next show. If you want to join us on camera, you can come and join us on camera too. That's an open invitation any time, any week. Well, you know, it's Thursdays, 11 a.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. in the UK, and you can join us, talk about your videos, or we can simply show your YouTube videos on screen. We might knock on a few doors and see if we can, of the people who posted their videos in the group, see if we can sort of entice them to upload them to YouTube as well. Because it's free publicity. We did boost last week's show, and over 2,000 or nearly 2,000 people actually played the video. So if you do get on the show, you're actually reaching out to a new audience. If you're an agency, then people will see what you can do with Invideo, and it gives you the opportunity to actually meet people as well, especially if you come on camera with John. That's the run. It wasn't a run, was it really? No, it wasn't. It was nowhere near a rant. Was it an advert? I don't do adverts.
I think it was an advert. Yeah, definitely an advert.
Right. Okay. I just want to acknowledge this set behind me was first shown by Peter Stewart on this morning's Blowing for Britain, and he uses XSplit VCAM too, so I borrowed it. And plagiarism is sometimes the sincerest form of flattery because this is a free resource. Over to Kelly.
It's a recording studio, actually, Kelly, but not SpaceX. Just a recording.
SpaceX is in the news at the moment. It actually made it to a video I made earlier today. So there you have it. Okay, so right, the sun's shining outside. Is it time for gardening, John?
In a bit. Have you noticed the new headers in video on the front page? They've changed the headers. They haven't changed how it works. Just got new refreshed headers.
Let's take a quick look because we can. I've gone to the Invideo.io site, and when it appears, which will be Angelica's teaching at the moment, so it won't be straight away. So it's a bit slow at this end. John, can you try? Oh, wait a minute. It's loading. It's intensive use of graphics. Okay, I've got it. Right. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and go over to the Chrome tab, go over to the Invideo tab, share, and bring it up on screen. So share on screen and make it full screen, he said, or not.
Dear. Oh, I saw it for a fleeting second. Yeah, so we've got a new...
Yeah, I can hear. All right. Okay. They're forever.
I'm not sure they really should have cigarettes on there in this day and age, but
well, that's true.
That's all that's changed, is the header across the top. There is a new function.
Yeah.
The editor. If you click on the background, you'll get the opportunity to remove the background.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's a beta.
Right, my machine is ringing, so I'm going to stop sharing, revisit that next week.
Yeah. So if you click on the background, you get a bar that says beta remove background.
Right. Okay.
But I don't know.
And now I know.
Does it mean remove the background layer, or does it mean remove the background from an image or a video? Doesn't tell you. I haven't had time to try.
Okay. Just a minute. I've got a delay. I know I've got a delay now. I'm going to report that, and we'll see what they can do about it. But undeterred, I have a video to play us out, John. Let me find it. Let's go out with fireworks, shall we?
Okie doke.
So I'm going to bring the fireworks up on screen. And this may or may not work. We're taking mighty risks here. So again, this is an Invideo video, but before I start it playing, John, would you like to sign us off?
Yeah, it's goodbye from me in the Midlands, and goodbye from Stephen in the southwest, down by Stonehenge in Wiltshire, and we're both in the UK. So it's goodbye from us, and enjoy the fireworks.
I think I've got some sort of update going on my machine. Okay, until next week, bye for now.